Hello, my name is Martijn David. I'm the Secretary General of the Dutch Publishers Association, especially for general books. I'm also not in Frankfurt this year, unfortunately, and as you can see, I'm working from home here. But I want to introduce to you Renew the Book, initiative we started in 2015. It had three, and still has, three very specific purposes. First of all, make innovations within the book trade and the book publishing industry possible, stimulate them. Secondly, create publicity. Book publishing, the book trade industry, needs to be shown as also an innovative business. And thirdly, get people from outside, young talents, inside the book publishing industry. We just finished the third edition of Renew the Book. This time it was a challenge, and the challenge was create a device, an innovation aimed to the reader, because the reader is in the end what we all aim for. No readers, no book publishing industry. The challenge was accepted by many. We had a long list and a short list and a jury, and in the end, I'm very proud, IMMER won. Also, the 50,000 euros prize money is well spent on this innovation, which I hope will get as many readers as possible. So, Renew the Book is our initiative. We will continue it, and we were very happy to do so. And I hope you will enjoy IMMER's presentation. Sorry not to be there, but I'll make sure I'll be there next year. Thank you.
So this has been the virtual Martijn, and I'm happy to have Niels on the stage, and he's the winner of the Renew the Book initiative by the Dutch colleagues with his idea IMMER. Niels, stage is yours.
First, let me take this moment to take a little picture. So, first I had to watch you for a little, now you get to watch me. So, I'm Niels, I'm the founder of IMMER, and as we like to put it, we are reinventing reading for the smartphone. Let me show you our company for a bit. We are a team of writers, game developers, UX experts determined to change reading. I myself have a background as an author. I wrote a couple of novels, but I also wrote for video games. And that's why I was inspired to sort of take a look at how digital reading works, what else we can do with this. And this is a project that I've been working on for years before I started IMMER in April 2020. Now we are at 4 full-timers and 4 part-timers, and it's a nice little group already. So what's the problem that we're trying to solve? During my research, so many people came up to me saying something like this: books are great, but I never read them. Or a variation of this, they are great, but I don't read them nearly as much as I'd like to. Like, even the most read people tend to say this. The way we see it, the problem has a couple of different sides. The book market is shrinking overall. Like Enrico's numbers are very encouraging, but I think worldwide it's quite clear that reading is losing market share to other forms of entertainment. E-books do grow compared to the whole market, but not enough. And even those giant companies that we're all a little impressed by haven't been able to change that. So why is that? People love books so much, but they don't act on it. They don't act on it enough. Why are they losing out to these newer storytelling forms? And we think, our hypothesis is, reading books hasn't evolved enough, not like these other media forms. They haven't evolved along with our modern lives, our fast and media-heavy lives. So what's the solution? We think reading has to be reinvented. It has to be made more attractive. It has to be made more engaging. It has to be made more digestible as well in those shorter moments during the day. And how do we do this? We think we can do it by taking cues from all these new forms, like games, like social media, but even things like fitness trackers and meditation apps. And we do this, of course, using this little device, the ubiquitous, very capable device that we all have with us every day. We sometimes tend to think of it as the enemy, drawing our attention away from books, but actually we think this is where the magic will happen. So what are we making? We are developing an all-in-one reading platform. We think there are a lot of great innovations out there, but they're very spread around, and we try to bring them to one place. So what does that mean? We are creating an integrated smartphone-native book reading solution that includes finding that great book to read. It's a very important part of it, that's where my research started, is about immersing yourself deeply in short bursts and helping you to get a better understanding of what it is that you're reading, even in those short moments, and then helping you develop a reading habit. That's where the fitness tracker comparison comes in. We do this using our own proprietary technology called the IMMER semantic engine that converts any existing ebook to our custom format, liberating the text, so to speak, so that we can build all kinds of innovations on top. How do we make money? We are going to sell an all-you-can-read subscription, but with premium in-app purchases on top. So what we're trying to prove is that even within this model of the subscription, those people who value books highly, that want to spend more money on a specific book, can spend it. And in the distribution field, how will we reach users? We're going to have to be really good at being able to, at allowing people to find us easily online, searching for a book and searching for an author. We're working on social features in the app. And of course, there's this paid user acquisition part as well. To show you a little bit more of what we've made so far, here's my co-founder, Lennart. Showing what we've made.
The key to everything we do is the IMMER semantic engine, our proprietary technology that converts any book to our own format. It understands a book's structure and meaning, so we have total control over its presentation, personalizing the reading view for each user and building all kinds of features on top. Last year, we successfully launched our MVP in our home country. Here's a quick look at the kinds of things we're already doing with our technology. This first IMMER app features hundreds of books by many of the biggest publishers here in the Netherlands. We developed a new way for our readers to choose one of these books with care, giving them a bigger chance of bumping into something they wouldn't otherwise pick. The app lets you divide books into sessions that fit the moment you're in. Instead of filling the screen, the app chooses a cohesive portion of text, making it easier to digest and decipher. And before you know it, you're on your way in the daunting epic. You can rate each session in our reading diary, and the app can then remind you of the books you want to finish. This already helps people develop a lasting reading habit.
Next slide. So we released in October last year a demo app with about 200 books from 10 of the biggest publishers in the Netherlands, and we sold them as in-app purchases, as a test basically. This got us a lot of media attention. We became App of the Day with Apple. We won the Renew the Book Innovation Award, happily. Some examples of what people said. This reading app makes it easier than ever to not just pick a book, but spend time on it, is what Apple said about it. A tech guru from the Netherlands, Alexander Klupping, he said, IMMER applies the stories format, like Instagram, to books. They're developing the native experience for books on the phone. I already enjoy tapping through a book. That native experience is really what we're going for. And the final quote is from the jury report. IMMER removes all barriers and excuses around reading. delicious and addictive, a unique all-in-one concept with enormous growth potential. It's nice to hear from them. There were a lot of entrants in the Netherlands. They were all quite high quality, so I was really proud of winning this one. We already got some scientific proof of what we're doing, working together with the Radboud University in Nijmegen. And they showed that if you read a story with our designs, that increases the immersion and the appreciation of the story. So that's high praise, I think. So some metrics from the app as well, in order of what we think is interesting. The first, most important, is how much do people appreciate reading in the app. Well, we measure this by the Net Promoter Score. That's good at the moment. We want it to be excellent, but this is okay for the moment. The next one is how much do people engage with the app. Well, we see that people are reading many hours in the app already, especially when they buy a book. What we do see is that with only 200 books, it is really a demo app. So it's a good way to get an experience of our technology and to read hopefully a book in the app. But if we really want it to become a daily use app, which is our goal, we have to add a lot more books, and that's what we're working on next. Next slide. I think the best thing about having launched this minimum viable product, or demo app as we call it, is that we learned a lot more about who our readers are and what value they get from the app. So what we basically see is, we started really by thinking we would be mainly for this new group of readers, right? This phone native group, as we call them. In their 20s and 30s, people who don't read a lot yet, need help to get going. And we thought that they would use IMMER to improve the time they spend on their phone, right? To exchange whatever they're doing on their phone with reading a book in our app. And while we see this happening, and we think that going into the future, this is where a lot of the growth will be, really a new market, we did notice that a lot of our readers are actually quite a traditional reader, what we call book natives, people mostly in their 50s and 60s who already buy books, have clear preferences, and we were kind of surprised by them using our app so much. And we talked to them, and they explained that it was a really good way for them to have extra moments. So they did buy paper books, they read them, they maybe went to the library, they read those, and IMMER just made it really easy to read again or even more in those in-between moments. So this is something that was quite educational for us, that we're keeping in mind when we're developing the next steps for our app. Because we think we can do a lot more to make it even easier, even more valuable for them to read in our app. Another thing is that I think we started out seeing reading as this sort of highbrow hobby, you know, much better than playing a stupid game or browsing through social media. But when we actually talked to our users, we saw two different kinds of usage. That are quite different, and the same behavior can be seen with the same people with different books, and sometimes the same books are read in a different way by different people. I don't think this is any surprise, but it's a nice categorization for us. On the one hand, we see what we call interest reading, all about the comfort of familiar stories and topics. It's about who you are as a reader, what you already know, and people who are in this mode use IMMER to get deeper into the immersion of a story, sort of in this quick moment. So that's where we're really strong already. But the other one is aspirational reading. This is more of this highbrow hobby kind of thing, which is all about challenging yourself with tough subjects or high literature. And it is not about who you already are, but it's about who you want to become, who you want to grow into. And this is something that we're really working on in the next version of our app, to make it a lot easier to get this kind of value out of those books. So in the next part, I'll be talking to you again, but from a video showing some of the stuff we're working on for the next version of our app. A lot of what we're doing right now is about taking what we pioneered in our MVP and making it seamless and intuitive. For example, we'll pick the right length for reading sessions automatically in the background, minimizing the time between taking the phone from your pocket and reading that first paragraph. When a session is done, you can easily continue reading or take a moment to review an outline of what you just read, give a rating, take notes, or read other people's notes, increasing your capacity to understand and recollect. When you're not sure what to read next, the read feed will always offer something great. Incoming releases, recommendations, quotes that your friends marked, and subscriptions and a credit system will make the barrier to just start reading even lower. To help you understand books, we are making them more flexible, as is only possible in the digital space. For example, the Book Navigator visualizes the different levels of a book's outline in a dynamic way, showing where sections and chapters start and where notes are located. It fluidly expands into the bullet outline you saw before. Okay, final slide. Some notes about the future to close off. We are releasing a version of our Dutch demo app in the Netherlands with many more books. We're connecting to the CB logistics system, so we'll easily have access to all the Dutch publishers. And we'll do this before the end of the year. We will launch our new app that you saw a sneak preview of, that not many people saw so far. We'll launch that next year, and we'll start taking small steps internationally, starting with a crowdfunding campaign to raise awareness and some money as well with our new app. We are funded by a group of 20 angel investors. This gives us a runway well into the next year, so we're doing pretty good, and we can continue doing what we're doing and grow our team, but we are looking for some extra funding as well to speed up our development and our global plans. We're also looking into some Dutch and European subsidies, specifically to experiment using our technology to help children read more, but also to help authors and designers create new kinds of stories that are possible with our technology quite uniquely. Finally, we have pretty good relations with Dutch publishers already, but as we're looking outside of the borders, I'm looking forward to learning more about all of you, learning more about the European publisher landscape. So yeah, please come up to me after this or send me an email. In the last slide, there's my email address. It's just niels@immer.app. Thanks for your attention.